across the road. And now if you come out Mondale Road, there is 14 acres of grass. We have went to the grass thing, including neighbors. I have convinced neighbors to do so. The farm that I work with, that Brian is now working with because I'm too old, is 550 acres. It started out. They're down to about 490 because the C&O Canal runs right along the edge of the farm. It started out with a pony project. It went on, and Brian was part of the pony project as a little chap about yay big. And it turned into, he helped me with the farm because if you don't eat, or if you don't work, you don't eat. I'm sorry. It's the way it works at my place. This is my wife, Mary. We have 6 children. Brian happens to be the youngest one. But we have 5 older ones, but at the same time, they had steer projects in 4-H. That's how we got involved. I had a son come home, a little blonde-haired boy, about 9 years old. Said, Dad, I want to steer. Never had that opportunity as a young man. I had to work. And we went out in the field and picked out a steer, and believe it or not, he had champion steer that year at the county fair. So that started the process. And one particular year, steers weren't selling very good at the county fair. Prices were down. I don't know what year it was because I'm getting too old for that anymore. But I said, Scott, prices are not good. Let's take it home. We actually bought the steer back. This is a 4-H project. Best steer I ever ate in my life. From then on, we do not eat the secondhand information or a secondhand steer. We eat the best because we can raise it. Brian and Meredith is doing a great job. Unless there's any questions, I'm going to let it go at that. And I thank you very much for attending.
This segment of Cooking Fresh, Cooking Local is brought to you by Valley Homes and Style magazine. The recipes on today's show will be printed exclusively in Valley Homes and Style magazine. To pick up a free copy, visit our website at www.homeandstyle.com or join the Valley Style Club and subscribe today for a discount at many of the Valley's best restaurants, services, and shops.
We also have Ruth Ann Callahan, Director of Food Resources Incorporated in Hagerstown. She wanted to talk to the group a little bit this evening, too. So, Ruth Ann?
Thank you. I wanted the opportunity to share with you folks the same concept of stewardship. If you don't know already, I hope you will soon. Food Resources is a food bank warehouse. We have 12,000 square feet, and we serve the low-income, hard-working folks that cannot buy enough food and gasoline at the same time. I want to note there in the corner is one of our board members, Reverend Delancey Catlett. He's been with the organization much longer than I have and taught me most of what I know about food banking. To just give you a slight hint of the impact of what Meredith and Brian have done for us, if you think about a box of Cheerios, the American Second Harvest Network that we work with nationally works with the producers of those Cheerios to ensure that over 100 truckloads a year are put into the donated food distribution system, of which we are the end of that line. We work with Maryland Food Bank, and we move that cereal out to those families that cannot afford to buy it. And most of those families that we serve have children. Just a little note here that 40% of the children in our county qualify for a free or reduced meal at school. And I would be remiss if I did not honor the esteemed Miss Donna Brightman for being one of the school board members. And she'll tell you how important those meals are, that children cannot learn if they're hungry and they're not fed properly. But what's really the important issue here is this homegrown, don't use any chemicals type food, because it's the chemicals in food that so often impede that learning progress. Give me an amen on that, Donna? Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it says here in the brochure that happy cows managed from birth. And I grew up in the Southwest, brought up on range-fed cattle, and there is nothing happier than a cattleman. Now, Waylon Jennings, he has a song out there that you might be familiar with that admonishes mothers about the poor career choices of their children. And the lyric goes, mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys. Well, I'll tell you, cattlemen are honest, they're hardworking, and you just can't find a better steward of the land. So my hat's off to Meredith and Brian for being happy people and raising happy cattle. And the piece I've yet to say, and I'll close with this, what they do with some of that meat. Now we have a little agreement that they use our freezer up there in our warehouse, and we give them a few hundred cubic feet to store frozen beef, and for that they let their really good hamburger go out to the agencies that serve those children that need that good meal before they go to school. So thank you very much for what you do.
I hope you enjoyed tonight. Please make yourselves at home. Eat, drink, and be merry.
All right, well, we're going to take a moment here to show you where the cuts of beef come from this steer. We appreciate Dylan bringing his steer out, this 4-H steer. It's a beautiful Angus, just a beautiful animal. We're going to try with some white paint to show you where the main cuts of beef come from. So if he'll cooperate, Dylan, you think he's ready? All right, we're going to draw a line right here. Okay. All right, somebody bring my knife. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, now we're going to take a we're going to go right here. And we'll talk about these in just a minute. Want to spin him back around? Well, we'll take a look back here. First of all, this is the round. This is the round. You've heard of top round of beef or steamship round of beef. It comes out of this area on the animal. And we can cut it a little further. And the top of this is called the rump. So this would the rump roast that you'd be enjoying on a Sunday after church come out of this area. And then this is the rest of the round, the bottom round. So if we move forward here with this fella into this next piece, this is the sirloin. Let me step over here. That S is the sirloin. And in front of that is the short loin. The short loin, that's where the quality cuts are going to be coming from. The short loin is where you're going to get your New York strip steaks. The tenderloin muscle sits right up in here. That's where the filet mignon comes from. And then as we move forward, we'll be up into the rib. And the rib is where your rib roasts come from, your ribeye steaks, Delmonico's. They come in the rib area of this animal. And then the front area is the chuck. You want to bring him back around, Dylan? That's okay. We'll take a minute. Beautiful. That's good. That's good. And up in here, well, that's probably going to scare him. Up in this front area, in this square, is the chuck. That's where chuck roasts come from. The lower part of the chuck down in here, in the front, is the brisket. That's where you'd get your brisket roasts from. And these cuts up in the front have a really nice beef flavor. They're not quite as tender as those from the middle part of the animal, but they do have a nice flavor. Now, we can draw a line right here. That's where flank steak comes from. So if you enjoy fajitas, that's where they're coming from, right out of there, right out of the flank. In this area is a plate, P for plate. In the plate, you'd get skirt steaks and a few other cuts that you'd use for stews. A lot of stew meat comes out of there. And then the foreshank, get some really nice soup bones out of that part of the animal, out of there, out of the foreshank. Okay, and then the same in the back, the hind shank. We'll put an R there for round. An RR for rump roast. Sirloin tip comes, well, the sirloin tri-tip comes right out of this area in here. That would be the sirloin tip roast, come out of there. This would be the top sirloin up in here. That's your higher quality sirloin. As you move down, you get into a little bit tougher, but really nice flavor as you get into the lower part of the sirloin. Okay, and short ribs. If you like short ribs, they come right out of this area. And of course, back ribs, when you take the ribeye steak off, you can be left with the back ribs and they come off this R. Where the R is, that's the rib area. Okay?
Hi, my name is Maria, and I had the good fortune to taste Stonecrest Farms all-natural beef. I will say there is a huge difference within taste between a store-bought and Stonecrest beef. I urge people to go out to the farm so you can see how beautifully kept the animals are. The difference here is the Stonecrest beef, be it an all-natural beef, is very tender and delicious. You can really taste the difference because it isn't grass-fed. It's not as tough as some grass-feds would be. They use corn, and it really does have an incredible difference.
My name is Karen Riley, and I want to thank everybody for this opportunity. I thought the Stonecrest Farms beef had so much more flavor. It was so much richer in taste, and I know that it was the same in terms of its nutritional content. When I go to spend my grocery dollars, I want to make sure that I'm getting everything I can for the dollars that I'm spending, and I know that with this beef I'm getting something that is nutritional, that is wholesome, and something that's worth every cent. And so I thank Stonecrest Farms for doing this.
I'm Michelle Liefke. I'm with GoGreenGals.com, and I'm also the first eco-broker green realtor for Washington County and for Pennsylvania and this region. And I have to say that after trying the store-bought beef, and I could tell that it had flavoring in it to enhance it and to bring out some flavor in it, and it was good. And I thought there's nothing that could meet this Delmonico steak from someplace I don't know. But after eating the Stonecrest beef, I was so pleasantly surprised, and it was very enjoyable. And I thank Meredith and Brian for introducing to me what locally I have available here at my fingertips.
Hi, my name is John Ganano. I'm from Back Creek Bend Farm, and we also raise locally produced beef in this region. And we have always known the difference in the flavor between store-bought beef and locally raised beef, and this time was no exception. The beef that we had tonight just had a flavor that was much richer and stronger than the store-bought beef. And aside from that, the way that you know where the beef came from is an essential part of what you want to eat. You want to eat something where you know where it came from, and that's the really, for me, the most important factor of eating local beef.
Hi, my name is Randy Barber, and my wife Melissa and I have a small fruit and berry farm in Roarsville. We have, since we've moved out here, been on the lookout for a source of local, naturally raised, pasture-fed organic beef, and we now know that we've found it. This is just a great opportunity to actually not only have really good tasting beef, but to be able to buy something that you know has been raised in a way that is, as they say, recognizes their obligation to stewardship for their customers, for the environment, and even for the animals that they're raising.
Hi, I'm David Coe. I live in this area, and one of the hardest things I found in cooking well for my family and friends is finding good meats to cook with. And what I found out is that locally grown beef is more reliable and tastes better than what I've been able to find in grocery stores. So I really enjoy the locally grown beef.